Hello and welcome to another episode of No Sugar All Spices. This is the first episode for the year 2026. So I thought it was appropriate to kind of talk about reflecting on this year so I thought it'd be appropriate to talk about 2025 and what I'm leaving behind in that year and then what I'm looking forward to doing or improving this year. So I was reflecting on some of the things that I was doing in 2025, some of the things that I wanted to accomplish, but maybe it didn't happen, or things that I lacked, or things that I just need improvements on. And so I was reflecting on that, and a lot of that kind of came from like the same reason on why I lacked certain maybe discipline or consistency, quality work, or whatever it is. And I feel like it all stems within one reason. And this one reason is a doom scrolling. I found myself doom scrolling a lot last year, and that really eats up so much of your time when you do that, and that ate up so much of my time last year. Like, there were times when I would come home and it's like, okay, once I get home, I'm gonna go work out, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. And then I find myself scrolling like hours on TikTok, on whatever feed, Instagram, all of that. And so I found myself doing that a lot. And I feel like that played a big role in me not meeting my certain goals, whether it's like going to the gym and working out however many times a week, eating healthy, whatever. Because there were times where I'm like, oh, let me cook a meal, but then I ended up like scrolling forever. That's embarrassing to share, but that's the truth. It's the truth. I just threw all these precious times out the window. Oh my gosh, I need to stop. You're just like swoop, and you're just in there. I'm out here fighting for my life sometimes. So earlier, as I was, preparing for this episode, I read some article, looked up some articles in regards to doom scrolling and its impacts, why we do it, etc. And so I just kind of first wanted to share about this specific area that I'm talking about. And then I kind of also want to get into what I want to do more of for this year. 2026. So I was reading this article by Amber Johnston. She is a crisis coordinator at the University of Colorado, Denver. The article is called "The Horrors of Doom Scrolling and Its Impact on Mental Health." Firstly, what is doom scrolling? I think we all know what it is, but according to Merriam-Webster, for those who've never heard of the term, Merriam-Webster defines doom scrolling as to spend excessive time online scrolling through news or other contents that makes one feel sad, anxious, angry, etc. And the term doom scrolling was also coined in 2020 in conjunction with the lockdowns and COVID pandemic. Doom scrolling is now part of the new reality we live in. It is typically consumed through short form videos, headlines, and different media content. This is compounded by the fact that social media platforms have blessed us all with infinite scroll powers, the ability to have unlimited access to content with no embedded stops. Thus, it has morphed into more than just negative consumption and instead represents an overabundance of digesting content. And so it's like, and then she continued to write, if you have found yourself doom scrolling, I challenge you honestly ask yourself why. Why pick up your phone for limitless time? Are you bored? Are you running away from something, someone, responsibilities, yourself? Procrastinating is often cited as the top reason people immerse themselves into their screens. It's easy, effortless, and doing the hard things we don't want to do. Social media, especially negative content, is easier to focus on than facing in a wanting challenge. And I just want to point out this one specific detail that she wrote. Procrastinating is often cited as a top reason people immerse themselves into their screens. I feel like that is so me because, as I've mentioned, there were days where I would come home from work, I would have like all this plan like laid out, like I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna cook, I'm gonna go to the gym, I'm gonna reading to gain more knowledge on whatever topic I want to gain knowledge on, whatever it may be. And then I end up reaching out to my phone And then I start scrolling. And it needs to be stopped. I need to stop. Just couldn't stop. And then I just kept procrastinating. I start procrastinating from then. And it's like, okay, I'm going to do it when it's 6 p.m. And then it becomes 6:05. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to start at 6:30. And then suddenly it's 6:31. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to do it at 7. Scrolling, 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 scrolling. You know, there were times where none of my plans would happen because I just kept scrolling. And I feel like that's a huge problem for a lot of us. But I know, like, especially for myself, like I mentioned, like I have my weekly goals, closing my rings, closing my fitness rings, eating at home a little more, not eating out so much. But then once I pick up my phone and I start scrolling, it's like I just forget about all these goals that I have for myself. And then I just kept scrolling and scrolling. And then I ended up not accomplishing anything. I am just watching others people's content instead of creating my own. You know, it's important to have goals. And obviously, I have these goals set for myself. I reflected back on this, and the only reason why I couldn't accomplish my goal every single week or every single day is because of doom scrolling. Is because I cannot just put my phone away. I kept procrastinating. There is no other excuses, pretty much. I just procrastinate and I, doom scroll. I look at my phone and that's it. Like, I literally have no other excuses to why I'm unable to accomplish my goals and the plan I have for each day and each week and each month. And then Amber continued to write, so what are you feeding yourself? Is it knowledge? Is it healthy? Or is it the mindless equivalence of junk food? If you find yourself often reaching for your phone or other devices, doom scrolling is no different than a bad habit or feeding our minds something unhealthy. And just like other negative habits, the digestion of all this contents, particularly the negative, is not without its side effects. When people doom scroll, it is reported that it can increase or create anxiety, sadness, uncertainty, a sense of overwhelm, fear, disappointment, discontentment, anger, feeling disconnected, depression, insomnia, jealousy, difficulties with interpersonal relationships and communication, OCD symptoms. Please don't include all that, Devin. There are also indications that there may be secondary effects that impacts people externally, such as your physical health, sleep, and eating habits. Those were literally 3 that I touched on mainly for myself. I think I don't really see myself being sad or having anxiety, having fear, disappointments, etc., because of doom scrolling. But staying physically healthy, getting enough sleep, and eating regularly or like on time or whatever, those are definitely some factors that I see, like I personally experience from doom scrolling. All because I just procrastinate when I start doom scrolling. I kept pushing things back instead of, getting right to it. And that's so not me, but that's the reality that I'm dealing with. So in order to solve my doom scrolling challenge, I want to say, because it is a challenge for me to not do it. For this year, my goal is to celebrate small wins, to reward myself when I accomplish something. Because I feel like oftentimes, we celebrate huge life events like graduation, having a baby, marriage, starting a family. I feel like small wins are as important. And here is another article that I read about why celebrating small wins matters. This is written by Melissa Russell. She writes, celebrating small wins can boost your mood and improve confidence in your accomplishments, keeping you motivated as you pursue a larger goal. It helps you form good habits like helpful eating or consistent study habits, and proves you can take on challenges. As I mentioned earlier, doom scrolling took so much out of me. It took away from me accomplishing my goals and my daily plans. And I just feel like by, celebrating small wins, whether it's going to the gym for 30 minutes to an hour after a long day of work, or reading just a few pages of, any book that's, helpful for me, or journaling, or, cooking a healthy meal at home. I know this is like normal to some people, but to me, these will be like small wins. These are worth celebrating for me just because I've been struggling to meet these daily goals. And honestly, I'm like very good about like discipline and staying consistent. Just the last couple of months, I was doom scrolling a lot. And then like over the holiday, I was doom scrolling a lot. I was not reading as much as I used to. I was not going to the gym. And this was also when like I had the most time to like accomplish these things. So going back to just celebrating small wins, I want to do that not only for myself, but also for people around me. I spent a lot of time with my nieces and nephews over this holiday break, Christmas and New Year. You know, they all got something going on for themselves. They're so talented and they're all like unique and different individuals. Celebrating small wins, it's just not about me, but I think it's also just as important to celebrate people around you, whether it's friends, coworkers, family members. There is a 5th century Chinese proverb. It says, "A journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step." It's a super short proverb, but it's so powerful. And I think that's what celebrating small win is all about. That first step, a beginning of something so big, worth celebrating. It doesn't have to be, we don't have to wait until we get to 1,000 miles to celebrate. We can celebrate that first step. We can celebrate the milestone that we accomplish on our way. And I want to celebrate making time for myself after a long day of work. I want to celebrate myself. I want to celebrate people around me and their wins. I just want to be there for people this year and celebrate people. So that's my goal for this year, is to stop doom scrolling, get to these goals that I have for myself, whether it's daily goals, weekly goals, monthly, yearly. It starts with the first step in order to get to the end goal. So small wins for me personally looks like this. Maybe getting up early to go to the gym, or going to the gym after work. And again, I'm able to accomplish this when I stop doom scrolling and actually get to it. Getting up early and reading the Word of God. That would be a big win for me because I've been struggling to read. Small win to me would look like hydrating. Sometimes I just struggle to drink water more than I drink coffee. That's a small win. And small win for you could look different. I encourage you to celebrate these small wins because we all start somewhere. We take baby steps. We take the first step and then we go from there. If I want to lose 50 pounds, I got to take these small steps first and celebrate these wins along the way. I'm just not going to be able to accomplish that in a day or in 2 days. It takes time, it takes patience, it takes celebration along the way. Letting yourself know that you're doing a great job. Just keep celebrating yourself and others around you. So to end this podcast, I just want to wish you all a happy new year. I want to thank you all for watching and listening. I encourage you to reflect on this past year. What can you improve on, what you lack, and also what you accomplished. I just hope that this new year brings you wealth, health, peace, brings you luck, brings you blessing, and so much more. And I just pray that you find happiness and that you celebrate yourself and that you learn to celebrate yourself. And also don't forget to celebrate the people around you who are winning in life. And don't forget to bring up those around you. Thank you, and I will see you in the next episode. And then I start scrolling, and that's it. My day's over.